Dear students and viewers, good afternoon everyone. This is Ridwan, your teacher of English, and I've come here today with a very important topic. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about transformation of simple, complex and compound sentence. Now, you are probably thinking what is transformation or how to answer the questions relating to the topic. Okay. So, as today's lesson is about how we can change a complex sentence into simple one, or how to change a complex sentence into compound one, and vice versa, I'll be explaining everything in details. But before I go into details, I think I need to tell you what things you should learn to better understand the topic. Though most of the students have difficulty with the topic, today's lesson is not very short. It is somewhat complicated, as you know. As most of the students have difficulty with the topic, they don't understand the basics of transformation, and so they can't answer the questions in the exams. But I think, and I strongly believe that today's topic would be much easier for you, because as you know, in my last two videos, for your better understanding, in my last two videos I talked about simple, complex and compound sentence in details. I discussed their definitions, I discussed their identifications. It means how to identify different types of sentences. Most importantly, I discussed their formations, how to structure them. And as you know, in order to help you to better understand the topic, I made the second video on the difference between finite and non-finite verb. I think you must have seen that. Now let's start the topic by talking about the lessons we learned from the previous videos. First of all, I'll tell you what is transformation. Transformation is the method of transforming from one sentence into another according to grammatical structure without changing the meaning. Very quickly, we have got two features of transformation from this definition. The first one, in terms of transformation, we are not allowed to change the meaning and the sense. The meaning and the sense of the sentence must not be changed. We will have to change the structure. We will have to change their structure. We will have to either exclude some words or include some words, and thus we make changes. Okay, let's take some examples. The first example, for example, I know his name. I know his name. This is a simple sentence, right? To make it complex sentence, if I say this in complex sentence, I could say, I know what his name is. I know what his name is. Here I have included some words, and this is now a complex sentence. I know what his name is. Here I know his name is. I have not changed the meaning or the sense. I have just changed their structure. Okay, let's take another example. An industrious boy will succeed in life. This is a simple sentence, right? And if we let's make it a complex sentence, or let's say this in a complex sentence. An industrious boy will succeed in life. A boy who is industrious will succeed in life. Here the meaning or the sense is the same as before. Okay. Now I've told you what transformation is. Now let's talk about complex sentence. how you can identify a complex sentence. A complex sentence must include a subordinating conjunction that introduces the subordinate clause. And do remember the most common subordinating conjunctions, including though. The most common subordinating conjunctions are though, although, even though, even if, that, so that, in order that, before, after, till, until, lest, providing that, provided that, as if, as though. These are the most commonly used subordinating conjunctions. And in my last video, I talked about one of my favorite acronyms, IUBISTA. If you can remember IUBISTA, I think it would be easy. It would be easy for you to remember the most commonly used subordinating conjunctions. So, or you can say a complex sentence is just a sentence that has a principal clause. Every clause begins with a subject and verb. A principal clause and one or more subordinate clauses begins with a subordinating conjunction. Though he is poor, he is happy. This is a complex sentence. Then let's talk about compound sentence. A compound sentence must include coordinating conjunction. You know what coordinating conjunctions are. Friend boys will help you to remember the coordinating conjunctions. And a simple sentence. How you can identify? Let's see how you can identify a simple sentence. A simple sentence does not contain any subordinating conjunctions or coordinating conjunctions. Any conjunctions. No conjunctions. A simple sentence contain. Then now in today's lesson, I'm going to show you three very important rules of transformation. Transformation. The complex sentence I'm going to change into simple word compound, contains though, although, or even though. Even though is also possible. Though, although, even though. Though, although, even though. We use though, although, even though to show contrast, to express two contrasting ideas. Though, although, even though, and we can use these words interchangeably, but there's a grammatical difference. For example, though, although, even though. Though, although, or even though is always followed by clause. We must use a clause after though, although, or even though. A clause means clause is a group of words. I'm repeating the definition. Clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb. Here verb means finite verb. So after though, although, or even though, we must use a clause. Though, although, even though are subordinating conjunctions, and these introduce subordinate clause. Then, despite or in spite of, as these are prepositions, these are not conjunctions. We use despite, after despite or in spite of, as these are prepositions. We use either pronoun based on the context. We use either pronoun or noun phrase. Gerund, it means verb plus ing. When do we use gerund? When you find no specific noun form of the verb, then you have to use gerund of the verb. Then there's another option. using despite word in spite of, and but we want this this formation in this class. We could say despite the fact that plus clause, in spite of the fact that plus clause. Then in simple sentence, the phrase has to start with either despite or in spite of, and the compound sentence, the two simple sentences will be connected by either but or yet. Okay, now I think it's time to change the complex sentence into simple one, and you can easily understand what I've said so far. Though